What's up, people? We back. Barbershop Chop. Your man Matt with our Portus. You want to introduce yourself for real this time?
I'm not going to introduce myself, man. This is Will. Ill Way to Kane on Instagram. His image barbershop. We in the building. Stop making me do that, man.
You gotta introduce yourself.
Ben? Ben C. C. Bill Ben on Instagram.
Alright.
And Shaw Gill, and I am Shaw Gill on Instagram.
Alright. And I never said this, but I am at our Portus Motivation on Instagram, so come check me out. Today, we are going to talk about self-love and self-care because it's not happening. Too many people they're struggling these days. Like, legitimately, people are not taking care of themselves. They're not loving themselves. One of the things that blew my mind, Will and I, when we filmed last time, when we ended it, Will jumped on his phone and he was checking out his Instagram page, and a video popped up of a guy who was in a shootout with the cops, literally filming himself getting killed. And as we're looking at this, you see bullet holes going in this guy, and he doesn't love himself. His self-care wasn't up. He's struggling. And I'm guessing he died. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear any more about it.
But that was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. You ever seen it?
Nah.
Man, like, the dude was literally like, one time's head, I'm not going out like that. He's brandishing his gun. He's like, he shows a video. He said, you see him down the street, they laying low. He said, but, tell my kids I love them, tell my baby I love them. And like, all of a sudden, he hit pop, 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 and he's shooting back. And like, his phone starts shaking. And when he come back on him, you see like in his chest where meat has popped out. And he's like, I'm hit. And, Will said something profound, and he was just like, this dude never realized he was alive. He never realized that he had a life to live. He lacked self-love, self-care. And so we want to make sure that no one else has to lack that, and that we can discuss this, especially as men. Like, man, we don't talk about self-love, we don't talk about self-care. I work with some people, and there's a young lady who was really down on herself, and I told her every day I want you to wake up, look in the mirror, and say 3 times, I love you, to yourself. I love you. Every day when you wake up. Every day before you go to bed, look in the mirror 3 times, say I love you. And like, realistically, when's the last time anybody in here said I love you to yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's the last time you said I love you to yourself?
I can't think.
I don't know if I've said it to myself.
Yeah. Same.
I've said I love myself, but I don't know that I've ever said that I love you to myself.
But I think it's important too to show ourselves love. Like, we don't necessarily have to just say it in the mirror. Like, it's the way we treat ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves will indicate whether or not we love and somewhat ourselves, right? I mean, that's been my experience.
And I think that's what I have done, is shown myself love.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing, the way he said it, and I'm not saying that this is what he intended, the way he said it, but what I'm hearing is, damn, you never told yourself you love yourself. Like, why have you never done that is what I'm receiving. Like, what about saying you love yourself to yourself has been off-putting to you, that you've just never done it? Because you've shown yourself love, but you've never been able to say, man, I love you. Like, you never just looked in the mirror and did nothing like that. And why, so that's what came to my mind. Like, why is that for me?
I think we've been conditioned to, whether it's religion, whether it's social media, relationships, we've been conditioned to seek more so than to actually sit with ourselves, process, and love on ourselves, man. Like, a lot of us reach for love, whether it's through religion or relationship. We're reaching that external force, external presence for that. And I know myself, I've never, like, I don't think I've ever conditioned myself to, or been conditioned to just sit and be like, you actually love me. Like, I love myself. I'm always, I guess, trying to gift wrap myself up to be worthy of love. Never actually sitting and loving on myself.
And so what you just said was real profound. Like, you gift wrapping yourself to be worthy of love when you were born worthy of love. Like, being worthy of love is not something that you earn.
Yeah.
Like, if you were born, you're worthy of love.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. But the first person that's got to love you is you.
Yeah. But at an early age, I know for myself, at an early age, super early, I've almost never considered that. Of course, now at 32, I'm like, okay, yes, I love myself. I'm worthy of love. But when you're raised in a home where your father isn't there, you know what I'm saying? He's out having children by multiple women while married to your moms. Your mom is having to work 3-4 jobs to take care of y'all. Like, so much other stuff is going on that you're not getting that affirmation. You're not getting that assurance. You're not getting that one-on-one time to feel like you're worthy of love. It's like, okay, this is life. Life is going to be, mom want to go to church, dad not here, siblings get on my nerves. Church again. Church
Wednesday, it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
You had Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
I had Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday.
I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and don't let it be revival. Don't let it be revival. You're there all week.
The entire
Plus the extra day of the week.
Because you do have to go to Tuesday Bible study with mom and Wednesday children Bible study.
Exactly. And that's what I've seen. Like, so even with my mom, she was always reaching for love. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what you see, and that's what subconsciously you adapt to, and that's the lifestyle that you take as your own, in a sense, at least for myself.
But think about this.
Can I say something real quick?
Please.
So the religion bit, I'm not trying to go up on a religion tangent, but like religion that I experienced as a child also was very judgmental.
Yeah.
And so if you messed up, then all of a sudden going into the value, are
Yep.
you worthy of love?
No, you're not.
And so,
You go to
again,
hell.
right, there's,
You
It's
go to
this-
hell.
depending on your teaching,
Yeah.
yes, or you're in hell.
Right.
And not oh no, Ben, will you finish yourself?
No, go ahead, please.
Not only that, like, our religions also teach us, like, that we need something else. Like, we aren't lovable in and of ourselves. Like you have to perform to receive love, or you have to accept what someone else did to receive love. Many religions function in one of those two ways. You either have to do enough good to receive love, you either have to be righteous in your standing to receive love, and that righteousness comes because you accept what somebody else did that was perfect. So God doesn't even look at you and see love unless you accept what someone else did.
He sees your sin. He sees.
That's what he sees when he sees you. So it's like, you can't love yourself.
My bad.
You can't love yourself if you need something outside of you to find the acceptance. So everything in our culture is like counter this.
Yo,
it's like
that's crazy.
counter self-care.
That's crazy you say that, because exactly what you're saying, I'm thinking about like my personal process with religion and self-love and self-acceptance, and I realized as being able to like analyze it, I realized that in order for me to truly love myself, I had to accept myself, right? And in order for me to do that, I had to mainly like unlearn a lot of religion. Like, because religion teaches me that I can't, like, me and myself, I'm not worthy, right? I need something else. So I had to be able to sit with that through the things that I was going through in life and be able to like, you know what, I had to kind of step away a bit in order to just sit in who I was. Be like, yo, this is who I am. Like it or love it, this is who I am. Like you know what I'm saying? I've done some messed up things, you know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of good, but this is who I am. I can't operate under this umbrella anymore right now. At least in this season of my life, I have to be able to accept myself. And then as I'm accepting myself, then I can begin to love on myself and then nurture the immature parts of me that needs to grow up, you know what I'm saying, in order to really be the man that I want to be. So, like, and that's still the place I found myself in. Like,
and one of the things, and we want to keep with this religion piece, and I appreciate, you know, I know you said you didn't want to run down this hole, but I think it's
Oh
important.
no, I'm happy to run down the hole.
Okay.
I knew that there was a specific topic and
No, but it's all related. Self-love, you know, one of the things, I grew up Christian. I don't call myself Christian anymore simply because too many people that call themselves Christians hate me. And the craziest part, and the other thing about it is this, I've read other religious books, and it's all saying the same thing. It's all pointing to one creator, and it's all saying to love one another. And the craziest part is when you read, even if you read the Bible, you know, the creator called himself Yahweh, I am. And then he said, I am love. But then if he is love and he is in us, then what are we? So the religion, so it's the spirituality and then there's the religion. The religion is what somebody is telling you you have to believe.
religion is man-made.
It's man-made. The spirituality though, he said, I am love. And I am in you. So if the Creator is in us, if the Creator is us and we are part of Him, then we are love. And so if we say we love Him, then we have to love ourselves. And we keep being drilled, yo, you gotta love God. You gotta love God, unless you want to go to hell. Well, why don't you start loving yourself? Because that is within you. The God is within you. He is there. His breath of life is the reason we're alive. So if loving on God is loving on ourselves.
But I think to hit what you're saying is like, I think the one of the errors with religion, or the way I've been taught it, is it's very surface based. It's very performance based on the surface. So when I think for those who seek a deeper level of consciousness and awareness, like you begin to recognize that if you know, like you said, like God is love and He's in me, then I'm love. So yeah, I guess a lot of people are comfortable on the surface. A lot of people live life on the surface and they view other on the surface, especially when it comes to religion or things of that nature. Because I don't identify as a Christian, but I identify as a child of God. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like with my issues. I have a whole issue with how Christianity grew, the things with it. A lot of issues with that. So I don't identify as a Christian, but I do identify myself as a child of God and a believer. But if I am pulling from any type of text, and we're talking about religion, I mean, even Jesus came in and said that like He came to do away with the religion. He came to do with the man-made, because He said it's coming a time where like true worshipers will worship in like heart and spirit. You know what I'm saying? With truth and spirit. So it's deeper than just performance. It's deeper than just doing the right things and saying the right things or looking the right way. It's about that internal work, and that all ties back into like self-love, self-care, taking care of self, taking care of this temple that we have, and that's mind, body, and spirit.
It's mind, body, spirit. And so often, you know, like you said, it's the performance-based piece of religion where you gotta do this, you can't do this. And a lot of it, you know what I hear, and what I see is it's always the things that you do wrong. It's never really the things that you do right. And instead, how about we just talk about like, yo, let's focus on the right. Why do we keep focusing on the wrong things? Why do we keep talking about the wrong things? How about we focus on, yo, you love your neighbor? You love your neighbor as yourself? How do you do that? How do you love yourself first? You know, you hear all these principles, love your neighbor as yourself. How do you love yourself? Well, then it's like, well, you know, I don't know. Because we really don't. How do you love yourself? I don't know. And one of the things, and the reason I say to people, start looking in the mirror and say, I love you. How many people in here have said, I hate yourself? You ever told yourself, I hate you? You ever said, I hate you?
I don't think I've ever said I hate myself.
That's good. I've done it.
I've definitely like been super critical of myself and super like hard on myself, especially if I'm doing something I feel like I shouldn't have done. But I've never said I hated myself. But I can hit what you're saying about loving your neighbor. The thing is, I think a lot of people, because they don't understand how to love themselves, they treat their neighbors the way they treat themselves. So they're super critical of themselves. They're going to be super critical of their neighbors. They're judging themselves. They're not treating themselves with care. They're not going to treat the next man with care.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, and that applies to more things than just love.
Yeah.
It's everything.
You have to learn how to do a lot of things internally to yourself before you can. Like when people get in relationships at a young age, it's like most people are like, oh, you can't be in a serious relationship. You don't even love yourself yet. Or like, you don't even know what love is. Well, to some extent, that might be true. Like you do need time to figure out how to be in relationship with yourself, how to be in relationship with, how to take care of yourself and love yourself before you can also do the same to other people.
So let me ask you this.
It might.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you practice self-love and self-care? Do you mind sharing that?
I do it in a lot of ways. So I think I'm trying to think about how I want to even start that, unpacking it. Physically, I show myself love by taking care of myself, by exercising, by eating right. I walk a lot. Spiritually, I do it I have a spiritual practice that it's a lot to discuss, but I pray, I meditate. For me, meditation is actually more important than prayer. Being able to just quiet my mind and taking time out. I have 3 children, so being able to even carve out time where I am able to have quiet time, where I can quiet my mind, is hard, but it's also very important and good. So I donate my time. I volunteer. Because I think that it's important for me. Part of my spiritual practice, there's a line from it that says you can only keep what you have by giving it away. And so I think it's important for me to acknowledge that the only reason I'm sitting here tonight talking to you men is because, to a large extent, because of grace. Like I don't necessarily deserve it, but I'm here anyway. So I need to acknowledge that by being of service to other human beings. So that's some ways. Like I go to a therapist. And again, I think there's a part of me that sort of shudders when I say that, but I think when we're talking about mental health, part of the stigma around mental health has been people's lack of honesty. And I think one way to overcome that is by being honest, like by sharing. Yes, I go to see a therapist individually and with my significant other. I didn't actually ask her if I could share that, but I don't think it's a big secret. So
please don't be mad at it.
Yeah. But I think that's important. I think it's important to go see people, somebody who I can say, here's what's going on, and get an outside perspective. I talk to a lot of men and say, this is what I'm going through, and I'm honest with them. Like, this is what's happening. not only to get it off my chest, but also to hear an outside perspective on my life. Like, here's what I think. Sometimes we just want to be able to get it off our chest, but also get that perspective. Like, okay, well, maybe you should. Will did it earlier today. I said something. It was fairly negative. He offered a different perspective, and I was like, good point. It's easy for me to get in that same negative place that we were talking about as a society. I think it's very easy for me to slip into that negative place and always live in lack, like always looking at the glass half empty rather than half full. That's sort of my MO. Like that's